Woohoo! Here we are, Conspiracy Couch. I don't know I don't know what number this is. This is like, I don't know, what is it? I think it's 4. Might be Conspiracy Couch 4. It's good
I only
to be,
know that because YouTube says 4.
Right? It's good to be here with all you guys. This is wonderful. This is so much fun. We love Conspiracy Couch. I see Alice in the house, Cad Spotter, Jennifer, Rocker Chick, Grubby Limits. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Brad Whitelock. I think it's Whitelock. Laura Sanders, Patricia, Mr. Fox, Christina Love, Sarah. Yeah, here we go. Conspiracy Couch. So, is the audio, everything okay out there, guys? Can I get a 5x5 if we're good to go? So, Foil, what's up, man? Conspiracy Couch. Here we are.
I know. Super psyched.
Right?
Right?
So so here was the plan tonight. The plan was right, to do to do the secret space program stuff, right? And we were gonna have somebody we know call in, and well, a couple people. But however, don't get too mad at me, you guys, but I couldn't get the Discord server to work correct with the audio in the mixer. So we're gonna have to stick with Zoom tonight. We're gonna have to do it the way we've been doing it, do it with Zoom. So unfortunately, as a result of that, and mods, if you can please repost the meeting ID passcode, it's on the screen, but if you can post that in the chat as well as the link, let me know if you need me to post that again. Thank you for all the 5x5s, friends. Where was I? Oh yeah, so word is he can't call in if we can't use Discord. So you know, that kind of throws a spin into things tonight, but it's okay.
Oh, good. How often do the plans work here anyway?
Almost never, especially not on this show.
Almost never.
So,
right.
But you know, since we're following along with the theme, I'm sure there's some new friends in the chat and some people that are not entirely familiar with my story. So, since we're on the topic of secret space programs, I thought maybe this might be a good night and a good time to share a little bit of my story and
break it down,
and how I got into doing what I do now, which is being a YouTuber and a Twitter warrior. So, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with my story, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of it. Just the high strangeness parts of it. There's a lot to it. It's a pretty colorful story. It's like my life is like a cartoon. I say that all the time. But how I got into this was I was going through a really, really dark place in my life. And I had kind of given up. I was super depressed. It was probably, you know, like a lot of people talk about that dark night of the soul. Well, this was my dark night of the soul, but it was real dark. And it was going downhill quick. And I was completely asleep in the Matrix. I had really no awareness. I was always kind of into ETs and believed they were real, and was always kind of into science and physics and stuff, but I believed what I was told in the textbooks, you know. I actually started out a physics major in college before I got into screenwriting and a lot of other things that I did later in life. But so I always had a fascination with space, always had a fascination with ETs, and you know, I was always into sci-fi movies. But other than that, I had completely bought into the Matrix, like most people. So I'm walking through a neighborhood with another person, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a spaceship appears. And this wasn't like a UFO in the distance flying up sort of situation. This thing materialized right in front of my face, and it was probably about 50 feet in front of me. So I can't even tell you what that does to you when something your mind sees as impossible happens right in front of you and you can't deny it. And so I looked over at the guy, and like, are you seeing this? And I believe I even said that, are you seeing this? But he had this look of complete terror on his face. I knew he could see it. I knew he could see it. And then like about 8 military drones, I guess, came around the craft, and they were watching me and watching the craft. And this was a pretty like intense, I don't know how long this went on in my life, but it went on for a minute. And I remember thinking at one point, am I going to get abducted now? Are these aliens?
Right.
Yeah, I was tripping. And I got scared. At a point, I was like, okay, what do I do? They're going to abduct me or whatever. I was like, what? This doesn't look good. So I just started running. I started booking it. Can you just see?
Because that's going to help.
Can you just see the commander running away from the spaceship, like full force? It's not even looking back. I'm like, I'm out, right? So, anyway, the point to that story is there's a little bit more I'll tell you about too. But I was never the same after that day. I was forced to have to face the fact that things I had been told were not true were in fact true, and I'm gonna go into that, Christina, what it looked like. So, I was different, like I said, after that. So at this point in my life, I was doing terrible things like drugs, and I quit doing that. I gave that up. I started meditating, changed my whole diet. I started reading the Bible and the Nag Hammadi and every ancient scripture text I could get my hands on. I wanted to figure out what was really going on this planet. And I think that happened to a lot of people. So in the midst of this whole process going on, me getting sober and me figuring out that everything we'd been ever told was a lie, blah, 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 that we had. So I'm watching Cosmic Disclosure, like many other people that were led through synchronicity to Cosmic Disclosure. And I catch an episode that Corey's talking about some of his spaceships, and he's had like an artist render one of them, right? And lo and behold, the ship that Corey describes that came to get him, what he calls the Dark Craft, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. It appeared in the same way he describes. It was the same exact ship. So, yeah, so that's what started my path. And, anyway, so then after that, I don't know, maybe it was like a year later. I can't keep track of time anymore. I don't know. It all kind of bleeds in. But like a year later, I'm at Contact in the Desert. I was volunteering, doing something I had already had an obligation to do. And I was at Contact in the Desert. And I went to the CE5 that Emery Smith was putting on or whatever, right? So a lot of weird stuff happened at that event. I'm not really going to go into, but when I left the event and went over to a hotel that was a little ways away, I saw this light out of the corner of my eye, and I looked back and I was like, what? I was like, oh, that's a spaceship right above the field where everybody's having that CE5. So I get out my camera and I start taping the ship, right? And I couldn't stop taping it. I did this for a long time. I was taping the ship, and it was right above the field where everybody was having this conference, right? So I go and I think I played it back or something like that. And people think it's one, but there was two TR-3Bs cloaked sitting right there watching the whole thing that was going on. And I got them on tape, which is crazy. If you look on my channel, you'll see the footage. And I got them on tape. And I happen to have been talking to Rob Counts from Edge of Wonder. So anyway, I didn't know what to do with the footage. I didn't have a YouTube channel, and I just wanted it to get out to humanity, right? So I gave it to Ben and Rob, and as a result of that, they ended up having me on Edge of Wonder, and that's kind of what got me. So the point is, I got thrown into this. I never was like, I'm going to go, the universe, other forces, whatever you want to call it, put me on this path. This wasn't like something if I came up with it, my higher self came up with it in another dimension, and it's part of some design. But I didn't, let me tell you, 3D Alara didn't come up with this. So I knew that I had no choice. This is what I had to do. And I knew that I had to help disclose this stuff. And so here I am with all of
now
you
you're here,
on the conspiracy couch. Right?
On the conspiracy couch. Look at that.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys, ones that are unaware of why I'm so crazy about full disclosure and why I'm always tweeting about that stuff and why I'm always talking about UFOs and it's because I know the freedom that we could have, and I know what we have. I know the tech we actually have, and it's I have to. I don't have a choice, you know. So, and it's crazy too, because when all this happened, it was right when the Q thing started too. So, and I knew, like, the moment I saw it, I knew it was legit, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. So it's all a bunch of synchronicities that came together.
Funny how it just turns you right around and sends you somewhere else in life, huh?
It literally, I did a 180. I went from being like in the most hopeless point of my life, having given up, started doing things that I never imagined I'd be doing in my late 30s, just out of depression, and literally just did an about face. Even my family trips out on me. They're just like, they saw what happened to me. They don't understand the whole spaceship aspect of it and the ET aspect of it, but they know that something happened to their kid, something really dramatic, because I was never the same. Like, just never.
You shall
the same.
know them by their fruits.
Right?
I mean, if it worked, it worked, right?
Yeah.
I know I had some crazy experiences. Nothing ever, well, I can't even say that. You know, a ship did not materialize in front of me. I think I've told you this before. I got sucked in a long time ago, like 90s. For some reason, I just was drawn to the topic, and especially like, you know, when the internet became a thing.
Right.
Oh my God, I spent all my time doing that. But then like, I think, what was it, like 97 or 98? I've told you the call in on the Art Bell show.
Yeah.
Where the guy called in freaking out saying he was working at Area 51
Yeah.
and, you know, they are not what they claim to be. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? For whatever reason, that was it for me. I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to figure this out right now. Like, and then I was just stuck. I mean, I have seen ships, like I was driving from up north down through South Carolina, and I had about a 30-minute experience where I could see it was a triangular craft, and even then I figured that was one of ours, like a ARV, you know, something that we had back engineered and put up there. But it was tracking right along the coast, which was kind of crazy. And I mean, it was there for a long time, and I did actually get that on camera, but it was on one of my older phones, and I don't even know if it's still. This was, you know, before cloud, so I don't know if it's still if it's still there or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, Alara and I have this conversation like all the time. We disagree on some of the stuff. Like, I absolutely believe there's life on other planets from elsewhere. I think a lot of the stuff that's here might be kind of shady. You know.
Yeah, no doubt. There's some shady ETs here, but there's some good ones too.
I don't know if I've ever shared this, but I know I've told you. But my one incident, it was like a sleep paralysis moment.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
I didn't even really think much about it at the time. Like, this happened a while ago. I mean, I couldn't have been more than maybe, I don't know, 19, I think, maybe. But, you know, I was awake, and I know I was awake, but I couldn't freaking move my body. Like, I couldn't even get my mouth to move, to form words. And I was trying because I was terrified. And I could see what was in front of me, and it was almost like something stepped out of the nothingness. And I was mortified. I mean, it was like, it was what we would consider a typical gray, I guess. Not one of the tall ones, one of the shorter ones. But when it came out of the nothingness, I was totally freaking panicked. And finally, when my mouth would move, and I was just trying to say, Jesus, help me. And when that came out of my mouth, the entire situation stopped. I mean, just stopped, like dead in its tracks, stopped.
Wow.
Which kind of led me to believe that a lot of the stuff that we see may be, you know,
I know that's where you get your biblical
the fallen
perspective.
Angels,
right?
Yeah, that it's the fallen, and they're trying to use, you know, maybe they're giving us tech, you know, to open different portals and dimensions and such, like with CERN. But I'm kind of on that track with it. Who do we got here? Miss Ashley.
This is Alice. We know her as Alice. Hi, Alice. How are you? Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch.
Hello. Yes. Welcome to the couch.
Am I supposed to press that? I was like, press, and then next minute I'm on.
She's like, oh God.
It was meant to be. Do you have some high strangeness to share with us, since we're on spaceships and ETs?
I've never told anybody, so this is the first time I've told.
We are glad to have you tell us.
Welcome.
We're with you.
To be here. Okay, so when I woke up in March, my birthday, my reincarnation day, so that's March this year. Then it just I woke up so quickly I can't explain it. Every single video that you're meant to see, I seen. It was just
right.
And how you just sent things, as you said, the synchronicity, and then these people were coming into my life. So it was like my friend's husband was writing to me, going, "Watch this, watch this." I'm like, okay, yep. And then I was just got all these downloads. I can't explain it. Then I started to freak out about the fifth dimension. So I started to go, what am I going to do with my kids? I've got 2 kids. Like, are they coming with me? Oh my God, fuck. My best friend.
I went through the same thing. I don't have kids, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't care about the husband. I didn't even think of him. I was like, oh, fuck that. But I'm like, what about my kids? Are they coming? And my best friend is like, do we have to take the kids? Like, if we're going, do we have to take them? And I couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so that night, and I had a really, like, Ben on Twitter is like a spiritual guide for me, because I was just, what's happening to me? I seen a Palladian thing and I was like, that's my family. And I don't understand it. I've seen something and someone said, oh, do this little quiz online and do this. And I'm like, I don't need to. And I want to cry. I was like, they're my family. As soon as I seen them, I was like, this is me. So he said to me, go to bed and I want you to open your mind. He taught me how to meditate because I don't meditate. And he said, open your mind and ask them to come and to see you. And I was like, okay. And then I was looking and it said, because you said Dark Night of the Soul, my dad's a psychologist, right? And he's really, really open. So, which I'll tell you in a minute. Sorry, I flip-flop. But anyway, I'm a little bit drunk. I don't drink too much. I'm riding this bike down the hill, my son's bike, and there's no chain. I've got no kids. I'm like nearly running into the bush, drinking wine, talking to my dad with my earphones in, going, I'm a fucking Palladian. Like, I'm a Palladian, I'm an alien. And so
I know now. It's settled.
You are an alien too, Dad. And this is a 12. People are looking at me going, what? And I'm like riding.
I did that to my mom.
And I told my mom, and she goes, I'm going to get my blood tested. I think I'm one. So she takes off like I'm lucky. So anyway, so I put it out there and I'm like, my family, come and visit me. Whoever you are, I need to know. 4 a.m. that night, I heard the biggest ringing in my ears. And it was like I can't explain it. It was like, ding, like kind of thing, like wake up. And I then was like thinking, okay, I didn't see them. I'm a psychic anyway. You know how you just download information and you just know it? You just say it and you just suddenly know. It could be a whole book that you just suddenly now know everything in it. So as she was talking, it sounded like a juvenile voice that was so excited. She was like, oh, hello, Ashley. Oh, like this, very quick and very, and I said to her, and she said, I said, what's on my stomach? And it was like little grays. And I sound crazy, but it was like little grays down here, and they were working. And she said that we're working on your stomach. We're working on you from my anxiety, and that's where it starts. And I was like, okay. Then they said, we're not done with you yet. And I'm like, okay. And I said, why are you only showing yourself now? Why didn't you show me yourself like for 34 years that I've felt alone and all this? And she said, oh, silly, you needed to go through everything and have a life so that you could be here, so you know you could wake up. You needed to go through all of that to get you where you are today. And now we need your. And I'm like, and she's like, you're going to wake people up, but first you need to heal yourself. And I'm like, how do I do that? She's like, go within. That's all I heard was go within. And my partner is the most frustrating person I've ever met in my life. And then I knew why. He was there to teach me how to, I just understood why I was the mother to my mother and my father, why I raised my brothers and sisters. Everything just made sense. Like,
isn't it crazy how when you wake up, everything just suddenly, all the stuff in your life that sucked, you suddenly are like, oh, I had to do that.
Yes.
Like, oh, now I get why that happened. It made no sense before, but yeah.
I would have never woken up if I wasn't broken all the way down.
Absolutely.
I would have never.
Absolutely true.
I was so stubborn. I still am. I'm the same person in that way, but I had to get, I don't know how else to put it. I had to get, my willpower had to get just leveled. And for me to listen.
Well, that's what they tell you in boot camp. They break you all the way down so they can build you back up into something else.
You go through an ego test. And that's what I want to help people with, is I wish someone had said to me when I went to the doctors and said, this is how I'm feeling. I wish I had more of a spiritual doctor. They said, there's your antidepressant. See you later. 6 months on, it was Dark Night of the Soul. Yep. My dad's a psychologist. He called me and said, what do you know about Dark Night of the Soul? The other week. And I'm like, oh my God, you've got it. That's what you've got. And he's a psychologist. So we need more people understanding, not to put these kids on medication, not to put these spiritual children.
Amen to that.
My children are very spiritual, so psychic. And and you do get sad because we didn't know, and they were telling me I chose to come back here. I chose to come back, and you go through it all. Like I said, my first husband cheated, all this stuff happened, and I always knew it was for a reason. I never ever was like, oh, I hate you, and I never wanted revenge. I just knew it was meant to be. Anything bad I knew was meant to be, but I felt alone. And I want to cry right now, even meeting you girls, even everybody. It's like we've all found our family. And you may have been months or years or whatever, but I'm only new meeting you all.
Yeah.
And it's like my sisters. I'm like, I can't go and tell anybody else this
I get it.
besides
Believe me, we have all kinds
I
of
get
crazy
it.
conversations, right? It's something else.
You could
Yeah,
tell
it's
us,
something
like, hey, I'm telling you, I could all of a sudden see energy and read energy and all this weird. I started being able to talk to people that were passed on. I mean, I never had abilities like, then you try explaining that to somebody. They're like, what? You what? You know? And then try talking to people after that. Like, you're like, oh, why are you distracted? You know, Alara, why are you distracted? Because it's not just you and I in this room. I just can't tell you about it because
space.
Right.
Or you're like, you're really low in iron. Have you checked your iron? Someone's telling you low in iron. And they're like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm going to tell you this story really quickly. So my partner's, because he was so asleep, but he's so proud of me now, he gets me to read everybody at the pub. It's too much. But his friend comes over and he says, and I said to him, hang on, there's a butterfly here. I don't know. He works in an underground mine. Like, I mean underground.
Yeah.
He's down there. He's the sweetest guy ever. A butterfly comes and lands on his nose. He rings me, comes out thinking, what have you done to me? Who's here? There's a butterfly on my nose. No one's listening to me. He's trying to take a photo of this butterfly. And that's what I said. And do you think that your bullshit detector is just switched on?
Oh, yeah.
The people that you've
Oh,
watched
yeah.
that you're like, oh. And you're like, you're this. You just see through it.
You see through people.
I can now see it's legit. Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't believe that. Sorry.
Right.
No. Like the new King of England. I'm like, no, not real.
Wow.
It's crazy that it's just something else. You mentioned them putting all these kids on medication and whatever else. I mean, that clearly dulls your natural abilities. But one of the crazy things is, like, I was diagnosed bipolar at 13, and I don't know if you've heard me tell the story before on one of the other shows, but I had something attached to me. I didn't know it for a very long time, but when it left, I felt it leave. And after that, and I had taken psych meds every day of my life for, until about 3 years ago. Now, I take nothing.
Yep.
I don't get depressed. I don't have mood
Me neither.
swings. I don't cry about where I'm at. There's none of that. I'm
It's
completely
spiritual.
level.
Yep.
It was totally different.
Help me. I need to get off that.
You
Well, it's
are you meditating yet? Are you meditating?
No.
Okay. It's really painful in the beginning. It's straight up painful. Okay. But at a point, you'll get to where you have, if you stick with it, get past the painful part, it gets easier, and you'll get to where you look forward to it and you love it, right? And then you'll get to the point where you'll start seeing the benefits of it, and you'll never want to go back. You'll get to the point where you're in complete, not control, but you're in complete command. What's the word? Of your thoughts and emotions.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and our thoughts are what manifest stuff. So when you're in complete command of your thoughts and your emotions, you're running the show. Your body complex isn't running the show out there. You are. It changes the whole game. Like,
Yeah, this might sound
anxiety gone, goes away.
So
Well,
bad.
I'm
this
somebody
might
that took
sound
pills for
overly-
it.
Yes, right?
I still do.
Yep.
Breathing. I know this sounds super simplistic,
No, it
but
doesn't.
listen, with the anxiety, that will immediately,
Start with that.
if you breathe in the light and breathe out the darkness, at least it's something that simple, and you picture it in your head and you see it in your mind's eye, and it will calm you.
Yeah, you know what I do too? I visualize when I'm breathing in, I breathe in the light and the love, right, of creation and of our creator. And then I blow out anything that, like, doesn't serve me. And I say that in my head, anything negative, and I blow it out as, like, gray smoke.
Yeah, I was just.
It's all about visualizing stuff. And, like, I'm telling you, you'll be like, you'll notice the difference. Your whole body will start to, like, feel different. And you're like,
something as well, because I don't know anybody that's religious. I don't know anyone that's read the Bible. That is just how I don't know whole of Australia's like that, but I don't know anyone that's gone to church or anything. So it's not that I've, and now I'm knowing, and I've been reading cards, and I'm getting Jesus, I'm getting God, and I know that I'm supposed to be coming back to that. but I don't believe in what the churches do and what they've done to people. And like
the organization of the church in a lot of ways is shot. But listen, the truths in the Bible, now you do know somebody that's a Christian that went to church and that knows the Bible. You can feel free to talk to me because that's, I rock with, like I tell Laura all the time, I'm on a J train all day. Like I'm fine with that.
I want to be on the train. Yes.
I'm telling you, the answers are there,
I'm on the couch and then I'm on the train.
The organization of the church has just made just dishevelment everywhere. But if you just
like the Freemasonry,
just let it speak to you on its own terms. Okay. You'll find an answer there.
I'm a firm believer it's a frequency thing. Like I picked up the Bible when I was younger, and you might as well have been speaking some foreign language. I didn't understand none of it, okay? But when I picked it up after I woke up, there's different theories. I think maybe that ship really did something to me. Like it did. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. But
tuned you up.
It put me up it did something to me. So, but it's a frequency thing. So when I went back to read the Bible after I woke up and I started seeking the Creator, I would read and I could understand it. I knew what it meant. I could you can decode it. It's all a frequency thing. Reading the Bible, you won't understand it if you're not at the right frequency to understand it. But then once you get there,
that is true.
It'll just pop off the page. Like you'll just get it.
I think you helped with that a lot too. Because I've seen so many things, and I had a lady ring me the other day and say, you need to start looking at. There's so much positivity within the Bible that don't be scared of it. Read, it's beautiful, the parts of it that are there. And then when I started, it's the synchronicity, and I know I'm being guided to people that know more about it. And I want to be able to teach people more about it the more I learn. Do you know what I'm saying?
You'll understand what's deception in there, what's manipulation, and what's truth. You'll just know.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like I love, I've got so many gay friends, and that's why I've always said, no, I don't like the way that they view things, because I do have a lady that's like 62 and I don't like that. To me, love is love, and that's what's made me stop. And I'm like, I just cannot imagine someone saying you can't love this. That's why I was like, no. Do you know what I'm saying?
It also tells you not to leave the judging up to God. That's really not our place.
Exactly.
And I mean, like the Catholic Church will tell you, and I can't tell you how many times I heard this when I was growing up, you can love the sinner and hate the sin. Well, in my personal opinion, like I said, it ain't my business. You leave the judging up to God. It's not our place.
And we all have free will.
And anybody that tries to force you to think anything, you should just back away from. You got to find your own way.
And with the new age people, because people are saying there's a lot, and I am so because my intention is so good, I do get I get shocked when I see other people trying to take advantage of others. But people are saying there's these new age people that are out that aren't legitimate, haven't got the best intentions for people, and I'm wanting to help them to be able to discern the difference. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that. Sure. That is where I still get a little bit tricked, because I think, why would you want to do that to somebody?
Anytime you got a movement, you're going to find people trying to manipulate the movement itself.
Infiltrators. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere
with anything.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's true. That's why you gotta use discernment. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have discernment. Welcome, Lou.
I was gonna say, Lou's been up there with the mic muted for a minute now. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
How are you tonight, Lou? Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch.
Thank you. Hello. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Having the couch. Everything you guys are saying is like so true. I mean, I've got 60 years of being woke on this planet when nobody was talking about it, and I always felt like I was the icebreaker for stuff, because I got raised in the Roman Catholic Church, seminarian dad, sang for the Pope twice, blah 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 blah, did battles with the priest psychically in midnight mass, mind you. I used to flip my eyes up like they make that mask with their hands when I was a kid, and just I could see their evil and stuff. Wow. But I wanted to tell you about my weirdest experience.
Yeah, do share,
please.
Or one
That's
of them.
What we're
anyway.
here for, right?
One
Lay
of
it
them,
on us.
All weirdness is accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, millions of them. But when I was like 12 or 13, but it was the night that they were finally showing Love Story on TV. You know, it had been in the theaters, because way back then, back in the olden days, it had to go to the theaters and be on TV. So it was a Love Story, and I wanted to see it because, I knew my family, and they didn't know what love was. you could see the difference in nature, and humans were just so messed up on this planet when I got here. And so my mom wouldn't let me watch it. And so I was ticked. And so I'm standing in my bedroom looking out the window, in a big old window. And I'm just fuming. And it's all kind of hazy because like from the smog, in California, because that's where I was raised. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking out the window and just, I guess I went into a daze or whatever. And then I thought, oh, I got to go get my brush. It's on my dresser to the left of me. And I turned, and it's like, there's this troll wizard, okay, with the hat, and I'm rather tall, 5'10".
Like a gnome or a
troll.
A troll. Okay.
You know the old trolls you used to play with in the 70s?
With the hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
whoa. Was it fully manifested in the third dimension or no?
It was there in my room. And
Okay.
it was totally white, and it had the tall wizard's hat, so it was like the short troll with the funny feet and the beard and the hair and everything. And because I was raised religious, I'm like, oh my God, this got to be evil. And so
Right.
I grabbed it around the waist, bent down, grabbed the little short, by the waist, and I picked it up and I launched it head first through the window. Okay.
Well, that's that's a reaction. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah,
Well,
That's next level there.
It gets better, man. Okay, and it goes through the window, and all of a sudden, this black ring, opens up in the sky, and it sucks it like smoke. It like turned to smoke and just went, and the thing was gone. And I'm sitting there going, okay, they've been telling me I'm crazy for years, ever since I told them about the angels I saw when I was 4, and they threatened to put me in the funny house, and so I learned how to get out of straitjackets and shit. And I'm like, oh, I see that. I didn't see that. No, that didn't happen. I'm crazy. I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
And I sit there for a second, and I'm looking. I go, okay, well, I still need my brush. And I turn again to the left of me, and there's another one there. But this time, it's red, okay, pure red. The first one was like pure white, right? This one's red. I mean, oh my God, that was a good one. This is the devil.
Right.
Right? You know, right? And so I pick it up same way by the waist and launch it out the window. And it goes through the, gets sucked at like smoke in through the wormhole. And it was gone. I'm like, I'm absolutely crazy nuts. And so now that I'm like way older, my whole question of my life was like, why didn't you ask them
What they
their
were
names
doing?
were?
Oh, what their names were.
I
Right?
didn't even ask them. Like, well,
Or what are you doing in my room, bro?
Right? I would have been like,
hey, what?
Right? What are you? What do
Who
you
invited
want?
you here, friend?
Right? I don't want to know what your name is. I want to know what the hell you're doing in my room.
Yeah. Because I'd always seen the angels and stuff, but they'd never manifested like that. And because of the religious stuff, but now I'm kind of glad. And I know what it all means because of further trips and journeys that made sense throughout the years. And I was, long stories, but they turned me into a wizard battle warrior, and they take me
We
into
talked
the light.
about wizard battles the other day on
did you?
Space Force News. Yeah, we did. Dressed it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lou's on a whole nother level. I'm gonna just tell y'all
Yeah,
right
right.
now. I've known Lou for a while.
Story.
Lou just be battling out in other dimensions, and
Fighting trolls, like physically.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's on
And
another level.
Yeah, and it's funny now with all the, troll stuff, and it's like, but of all the training that they put me through all these years,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, but I was ticked at God for the longest time. It's like, why'd you put me here?
On
It
Earth?
happens.
On the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This
'Cause
place is
there's
crazy.
nobody to talk to. Yeah, there's
Agree.
nobody to talk to
I get it, Lou. Yeah.
for 60 years, dude. And it's like,
Yeah.
and now it's just like, now everybody's talking about it. And what the other lady, I can't see her name, was saying about the light worker community. I learned a long time ago, you can't do it for me. I couldn't do it for anything for money
Agree.
because that ruined it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think a lot of that is, you want to do the teaching, but then you get into that motor, and I think they lose a lot of the you know, because then you build up your standard of living, then you have to support it, blah, 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 blah. But
Right.
anyway, so if you want to hear another story, just say any word out of the encyclopedia and I could probably tell you one.
Have you had any do you know anything about the Pleiadians, or have you had any experiences with them, or
I don't think so. I don't know. Because I'm from Aldebaran, and the ancient builder race and all that. But I have been up to the crystal ships. And that's been my question with all the ESETI stuff. There's all kinds of diplomats up there. I mean, I embarrassed myself one time, which I'll never tell that story.
come on, tell it. You're on the couch, do it.
You're on the couch. Go for it.
Right? Might as well.
No. That's
dun,
my
dun.
secret. But as far as and then I interfaced with the AI in the crystal ship, because my higher self didn't fit in the.
Was
the
this
lady
the
that
evil AI?
No,
As I-
no.
Okay.
I got rid of the evil AI, dude. That's what I was trained for. I completed that mission in March. That one is gone. And
Thank
it was
you.
Ancient,
Thank
and
you.
it was
Thank you.
very.
Right? Whatever it
appreciate
was,
it.
I'm sure it sucked. Thank you. Right?
Yeah, it's a very, very long story. It was 18 years of battles and trainings and battles and trainings and battles and trainings. And it finally came after me one last time, and it was a wormhole battle, dude. And I tossed it out of the universe.
You throw
Okay.
things into
Yeah,
wormholes
she'd be kicking
frequently, I take
beings
it.
out of the
I
solar
think.
system, out of the universe. I'm telling you.
Right.
I told you, Lou is next level. There's no. Yeah.
I was
Don't
floored.
pick the costume.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Lou.
Oh, did I not answer the question? I'm sorry. So no, and I don't think I'm a Palladian. But we got dude. Okay, so this one time, ladies.
So what
We're
Yeah,
not
that's
laughing
why.
at you. We're laughing
Right?
with you.
We're with you. Yes. Continue,
Yeah, with
please.
Oh shit, where was I? Damn.
That happens
lost
to me
it.
all the time. It's cool. Like, completely cool. Somebody else will have a random thought. You're fine.
I know what it was. Okay, so I got into this long story, but I got into these mystery school ladies and prayer warriors and stuff that do these real high, powerful stuff. And I was actually quarantined for a year and I was under attack. It's a long story. And one night, the veil lifted. I went in, boom, they took me out. And I saw the veil lifted and I saw all the great beings of the galaxy and the universe that are here for this. And they're the planets, and because planets, everything's sentient. The planets, the
Right.
galaxy.
Yeah, it is. I could see it when I
and they're
woke up.
beings.
They're all
Yeah,
alive.
and
Yeah.
exactly. And like Gaia, she's the most beautiful creature, you know? And they all, the lady that was doing it was naming off all these great beings, all these great galaxies, and every time she said a name, they came through the veil. And it was just like, they're here. Oh, everybody's here now. Okay, good guys.
You were partying with the whole galaxy or what?
Dude,
She doesn't just party with me, and she's hanging out with galaxies and solar systems and stars.
Right?
Hey,
The
I don't
logos.
have any friends, you know?
Yeah, she's like, the Logos is my best homie.
Darling.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
roll with the
You were
Logos.
kicking it on Thursday, right? Mhm.
Yeah, no, I've sat outside the universe. The universe is an egg, and it's in a petri dish in heaven. And I have a whole bunch of stories about the things they showed me in heaven too. So, So anyway,
Wow.
but I don't want to take up all your. Because I started out religiously. So, that's one point I want to make, is that with all this, rush to want UFO, disclosure,
Right.
and all that. My grandpa told me about free energy he saw at JPL in 1968. So I've been waiting for it since then. But because of the visions, and this is so beautiful, we're doing this because we have to do it spiritually. Because if we don't, we'll end up on the wrong path again.
Yeah.
And then Gaia destroys herself. But we're not going there.
No, I hope not. That was
No,
Yeah.
we got to wake
So-
up. We got to get in alignment and wake up spiritually. We got to balance that with the tech. Otherwise, we'll destroy her. She's exactly right. That's what
Yes, ma'am.
civilizations
Yes,
do when
ma'am.
they're not on the right spiritual level to have that kind of
They
technology.
shake us off like fleas. Like, nope.
Right? Yep. A
Yeah,
guy would be like,
yeah.
"You're gone, all y'all. See ya."
Next.
Yeah.
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 Not
So-
hard for
so-
her. Not a challenge.
Yeah. So the question for me is, how do we get like Space Force and all those people to know is like, you've got to be in tune with the universal law and the spirituality and God and everybody in order to make it work.
Right.
Well, how do we get them to?
I know, Lou. We got to get Space Force. We got to get Space Force in alignment. You know what I mean? We got to get all of them on a meditation program. So, you know.
Or hey, we could play some wizard games. Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But you can talk to anybody in the universe, and you can, those kind of people that are in those positions, you can pray for them and their higher self.
Yeah, we
and
can.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I
That's
pray
a good
for
idea.
people all the time. Mm-hmm.
Anybody so excited to go home and just to meet their their family, and I don't know, I see like the spaceships and when you watch things and
I know where she's at.
And I just feel it doesn't scare me. Even my mum, she goes, "Take me first," and I'm like, "No, me."
Yeah, I used to be terrified. Now not at all. Right.
Not at all.
Right.
Now I'm like, bring it on. I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready for my part. Like we're supposed
Whatever
to be
it is.
pilots.
Right.
Women are great pilots. We just stick our DNA, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm excited.
Yeah, we just got to learn to fly the planet. That's all we got to do.
It's really simple, guys. We just learned to fly the planet, okay?
We'll get right on that.
Shouldn't we ask her permission first before we try to fly her? That seems like a violation to me, Like,
yeah, good point. But she's asked us to, so yeah.
All right, friends. We have 2 people in the waiting room, so
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
Much love. Thank you for sharing, both of you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Let's see. As soon as they...
How do we get out of here?
I think I got to kick you out. Oh, no. She got out.
The show is so much fun.
There we go. All right. Okay, here we go. Chapman. Oh wait, it didn't get Alice. Hold on. Chapman. Oh, it's you.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, it's still connecting.
Hi, can you hear me?
Is your stream muted?
Yeah, I muted my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, because I follow on my phone, and then I switched the my Bose speaker to my computer, and then I go Zoom here.
Uh-huh.
First of all, hello, how is everyone doing?
We're good.
Wonderful. Thank you for calling in.
We're good.
Hi.
Hold on just a
Got a
second.
crazy-
I think I removed Alice, but I don't know. She's still there. So let me remove Alice.
You want to see my conspiracy house sunglasses? Because they're here.
Do you want to remove? Okay, yeah. Okay.
That
Those
makes
are your
it official.
conspiracy couch sunglasses. All right. Yeah, I love them. They're Pepe Green.
I bought him at the gas station the other day when I was on the way back from that ratchet, horrible. I hate the dentist.
So I know you under a different name. So what name would you like to be called on the conspiracy couch?
Oh, you can call. Actually, can you call me Shri? Because that's how my fam knows me. Like
I'll
go
call
by
you
the
whatever you want
Brooklyn
me to
way.
call you. Yeah. I know her as the
Don't call
Brooklyn
me
way,
crazy.
but I can call
Right,
you.
I go by the Brooklyn way on YouTube, but I'm Shri Devi Chapman on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm chap_God. On Twitter, it's Low Country Patriot.
Right. Oh, you're the Low Country Patriot. They're the one that
Yes.
makes those epic like tweets. Okay, I know what's up now. Yeah. So
Did you not know that was me?
no.
Did y'all not know that?
Oh,
was
I
me?
figured the energy, honestly, like the energy in those tweets was your energy, but I
Yeah.
was confused by the difference in names. But yeah, I figured it was you, but I wasn't positive.
Well, you figured correct.
So, do you have some weird UFO alien story?
I
something-
do. I have a story. I don't know if it's weird.
Okay.
The word alien, I hate at this point because I'm like, it makes me think of like a cross between E.T. and this one BT song. I don't know if you guys know who BT is. His name is Brian Transo, but he used to make a lot of trance music in the 90s, and then I don't know what happened to him. It kind of faded off. But there's one song called Wrecking Ball, and it's so crazy. That's not what I want to talk about. But anyway, so what Alice Let's keep it moving. So I wanted, today's been like a huge, like anahata crack. My heart has been cracking open. Actually, the last, I'd say the last 24 hours. Okay, guys, real quick. I'm like tech retarded. This is my Mac. There's a green light. In order to look at y'all without looking like I'm looking in 50 different directions, am I supposed to look at this?
Oh, you're looking right at us.
You're
now.
looking right at us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
No, you're winning today. I'm telling you, there was no technical issues. You just got on and everything was working. So
Ta-da!
yeah,
That is an absolute anomaly because I am the most tech illiterate
I've seen it.
person.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, like on Lionsgate, August 8th or 9th of last year, my phone did some fuck shit and I lost all of my contacts and stepped my friend's. Have you ever stepped in dog shit in Birkenstocks? It sucks. And the same day, or Vans. Look at the bottom of a Vans, man. It's just a bunch of 6-pointed start. Like, yo.
Brooklyn Way, focus.
What Alice was saying, first of all, I love the keeper. We'll keep her. I love her. Alice Reddington, if you're still listening.
Yeah. We like you, Alice, is what we're saying.
Great.
Yeah.
I love her energy. I love her enthusiasm. And I love her honesty about her process as related to, it's like, you know, when you're going Mach 9, when things first start to just like,
I remember
when the bottom
that.
starts to fall out and you're like fucking Jackson Pollock levels of defecation hitting the oscillation, you know, shit's hitting the fan, people are fucking with you, telling you to get lost, and your other people are like, what's up? And you're just like, let me clear my throat, you know, like, how do I separate the wheat from the chaff as related as I move through this process, right?
Right.
Well, keeping honest about the process helps for sure. She's very straightforward. That was.
Yeah.
I love that about her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I so get where she's at. I was in that, except I wasn't on. I'm wondering, Alice, who told you to get on Twitter? How did you figure out? I did the same thing. Why did I get on Twitter? I don't even remember. I just was like,
dude, I was a fucking loser on Twitter.
I gotta help this Q operation. I gotta get on, but I don't even know who told me to get on Twitter. How did I know to get on Twitter?
It was kind of a random thing for me too. I mean, I was walking away from my old life, so I switched platforms. But the fact that I came on here and saw the quickness and the reach that messages had, I was shocked.
Well, let me tell you. Let me add commentary about that. Hold on one sec. I gotta pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Both.
We're all such unique and rare flowers. I really love that about the Great Awakening. We're all just these special entities that have had these colorful lives and have these amazing stories and perspectives. Like Lou. Love you, Lou.
Lou just blew my effing mind share. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, whatever.
I'm telling you, Lou's on another level. She does stuff like she's in the other dimension.
In the right
not
way,
really here.
in the best way. Oh yeah, no, but here, but not here.
Yeah, she's.
So what I wanted to say, because I today when Nicole was speaking about ascension and she was talking about healing the trauma, and one of the things, so I've lost a lot of friends. Now I ain't trying to be corny, but I might get a little emotional in the same way that you showed your Bryn Brown vulnerability, because I didn't clock any shame, because I think Alara's way the fuck past that, pardon my candor.
Oh yeah.
But the vulnerability that rides in tandem with allowing ourselves to come forward, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like we zoom in micro and then we come out, we zoom out it's micro macro, and I think that that's largely due to the fact that when we are receiving downloads or notifications or getting light codes, you know,
right.
Who was it in the chat earlier today? I remember the name very, Cads Potter, C-A-D-Z-P-O-T-T-R.
Cads Potter.
Was asking, like, and he wrote, WTF is light language. And I was interested to see how people would respond to the question, because quite frankly, if you haven't heard that before, you know, people would be like, what's your love language? You know, that's kind of a thing that I think a lot of us are with something with which a lot of us are familiar. But to hear about light language, that's very, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
And it was interesting to see how people responded to that. And I loved the way in which she responded, and how everyone just like kind of held him up in order for that question. When Keystone was like, you know, someone's asking, like, can you please explain that? What I found is that
I didn't catch the whole show, so I missed that. Somebody read off light language or spoke it, or what?
No, but what Nicole was saying is she was talking about the ascension process, and she was saying how, I mean, you know, that's like that's like talking about politics. Like, okay, well, there's politics all over the world. She was talking about ascension, and she was talking about how, well, the first thing she went into was healing the childhood trauma. And I'm going to back it up and drop it in another direction for a minute, if that's okay, respectfully. Do y'all mind? I want to move in a different direction real quick.
Okay. Only if you put those glasses on, though.
Right.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me put some gas station glasses in it. Where'd they go?
On your head, dear.
Yeah, they're on your head.
Get out of here. Yo.
It's all good. It's all good. Continue, please.
Continue.
Tell us all about it.
That last one you put these on, get the fuck out of here. All right. So when people start to go, wait, what was the last thing I said before you? It's the vibe of our crew, man. We're just like,
it's the couch.
Right.
So I'm gonna take them off though, because they are actually clouding my vision, literally.
Yeah.
Nicole was talking about the necessitation of healing childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I've been working on for a really long time. And I don't want to get into too much detail about it. You know, I remember when I first linked with Keystone, I hope she's sleeping. Bless her heart. Is she sleeping?
She's got to be if she's not here.
Oh my God. I really hope.
I know where she might be, but no, she's probably sleeping.
Okay, well, I hope she's enjoying herself in either way, but she's just, you know, like constant. That must be hard to have like that time difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she lives in America. Like she lives in Europe, but her time, she lives on our time. Like she's
absolutely
poor thing.
Absolutely.
That must be weird to go outside the way she lives. Like she's always on the internet and with us. It's like she goes outside and it's a whole nother time where she lives. It's weird.
Definitely. Yeah, I think about that a lot with her. I send her a lot of like resting light because she mentions it often that she's tired or needs to sleep, and I feel like it's okay to. Well, she said she's gonna unplug this weekend, so like whatever. Right. She knows what to do. Like she
okay,
good.
so
she good. So with respect to healing the childhood trauma.
Okay.
So Q dropped in April. Calm your mind, heal. Now.
Yeah.
One of the things, I feel like there are a lot of different factions. There's always going to be like little factions within a group, right? So you've got the movement, the Great Awakening, and then you've got us, and then you've got the light workers, and then you've got the hardcore far-right Christian patriots, and then you have the people who are just like, I want justice, and then, you know, and we're all here together. But at the end of the day, what's driving? I want justice. And what's driving? Is there something about that within you, within the individual, that is stemming from not? I mean, we all want justice. Don't get it twisted. But healing the childhood trauma is so important, and a lot of people don't do it. And I don't necessarily think that they avoid that work because they don't want to heal. But if something has become so normalized for you, and actually it hasn't become normalized, it's your normal, because from childhood or whatever, you were abused or in pain, or your parents were, I mean, I went through a lot of crazy shit.
You have to heal that stuff. You really do.
You have to heal it. Q dropped it in April.
To.
Calm your mind. Heal.
You're going to project. Look, you're going to project if you do not heal your own traumas. And the only way you heal them is by going in and looking. And you literally, not just that, you got to look at yourself in every situation. You have to look at yourself in your part.
here's the thing. Like, I definitely want to see some justice. However,
Same.
I think a lot of people are just frustrated, and maybe it doesn't even stem from like not doing the work or whatever. Like, you can very easily get frustrated when you're constantly being bombarded with the BS that we're shown every day, everywhere we look. Movies, music, TV, the news, whatever. They're constantly pumping in the stuff to alter your frequency and to put you on that frustrated level. And then when you're trying to work against it, not only are you struggling against the freaking flow of the river, right? But then you aren't really seeing, like, you think you want to see, like, we're very used to like instantaneous answers to things and instantaneous, like, instant gratification all the time. And so, you know, when you come in even into a movement like this, and you're trying to synthesize your place with all of the muck that's all around us, and you know that the ultimate goal is you want to see a change, and you just feel like maybe you're not getting there fast enough because you're so used to being able to suck up whatever you need whenever you want it, you get a little frustrated. And so maybe that's just how they express, like, maybe they get stuck on that one point. And I mean, granted, I totally can dig it, you know, but I mean, we just need to maybe, you know, like, you know, I point it out all the time on Twitter, like, all we can say, it's going to happen when it happens. You know what I mean? And like, all we can do is our part.
My Lama said something once that was so I've been studying Tibetan Buddhism since 1999. And so when we talk about dreams or visions, I don't want to get into it. You know, now I'm like, Alara, when you say like, when something is so personal and outside of the paradigm of most people's
that's another thing, it's very personal,
nominal understanding, right? Like this, so when we try to use language, words, blah blah, to describe something like a dream.
One second, Brooklyn, sorry if I'm calling. I just want to welcome Miracle's been sitting here for a while.
I know, right?
Miracle Girlie, welcome to the Conspiracy Couch.
Welcome. We see ya.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
So Brooklyn was on a roll there. You saw that.
Yeah. So when we have these experiences, first of all, this is one of the, we have to digest and internalize what happens before we can blah blah about it, because sometimes the things that we experience on this path go beyond blah blah, meaning language as we know it, like language merely ascribed in this 3D paradigm, right? And that's where I think that's where the heart space comes in, where you have to connect to the vibration, the frequency, and the energy, because the blah blah, if you try to describe it with words, sometimes what happens is the programming and the belief systems and the enculturation with which you were born or given or for blah blah blah, blah will infect or inform, rather, let's wipe the word infect, fuck that, will inform the interpretation. And so we have to quiet.
Everybody is at a different point in their evolution. And when they come to this movement, we accept all. You know what I mean? It's just about doing the work.
And the work is the part where I think each of us, like, I feel like a friend of mine who's a fellow anon, who we were talking, and we were talking about the necessitation for figuring out. So think about it like this: before, whether you are Arcturian or Pleiadian or Lemurian or Lyran,
right.
But before the war, you know, back in the day when I was just a rager, before I had a gun, before I had a pager, and signed the contract and signed up to come here and work this shit out. And so there's a reason why a lot of us are waking up at the same time, in my opinion.
Right.
And I think that we have to give ourselves the space, because what Loyal just said is that we're all like, there's no out there thing that we're supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's an individual experience.
Absolutely.
It certainly is.
Absolutely. I wanted to say hi to the lieutenant. Hi, Lieutenant. I see you out there. It's good to see you.
Yeah, Miracle took her mic off. You want to? Yeah, jump in.
Yeah, Miracle. Aren't you with White Hat? Aren't you at the whatever it's called in the
Red Pill Expo? No, that's tomorrow. I'm in Florida right now with a friend.
Oh.
Woohoo!
but I thought I would jump in. But
Please do.
I called to share a story, and then Brooklyn made me think of something as she was talking about, you know, the Patriots and how some people are kind of like, I want justice. So I'll share my story first. So when I was little, I would write, and I found books where I would write, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And I would write it over again and again and again. And in the morning when I woke up, I would be really upset. First, I'd be really sad, and then I'd be really angry. And I would kick the wall every morning for like years. And my mom didn't know what to do with me. Like, it was so hard to calm myself down. And I was just angry because I wanted to go home. And at night, I would dream of this, like, up to the time I was like, I want to say 15 or 16, I would dream of this woman in this beautiful white robe, and we'd walk through this area. It looked very Greek. It would walk through this pillars, and everything was white and light and airy. And every day I would tell her what might happen with my day, and she would explain what was happening to me. She would explain why my parents were acting a certain way. She would explain why I was doing stuff. And I remember when I woke up, like, clearly, I still remember. So it was really cool. Then once I got, you know, after 16, like, I didn't have those dreams anymore. And I don't know whether it's because you grow up and your mind gets filled with all kinds of other
Yes, that's
garbage.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But it was really, so from time to time, even now, like, if I really need that experience and I can get myself calm enough, I think I probably still have those discussions. I just probably don't remember it anymore.
And you tap into the energy of, like, do you remember the feeling? For me, the memories like that are light. I remember the light. I don't know how to explain that, but it translates as visual.
Yep. I can see it. I can feel it. I remember it. It's very crystal clear.
Nice to have an explanation too. I wish I would have had somebody giving me some explanations at some point.
I didn't have anybody.
Right?
That phase
like,
that Alice,
what the hell is happening?
that phase that Alice is going through, I went through that and had literally nobody to talk to. Nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Here's the problem, guys. Imagine having a child who every night would talk to somebody else about what was happening in her life. That child is not going to talk to you about what's happening in her life.
Wow.
So my mom was always very upset that I wasn't sharing with her, because she didn't know what was going on in my little brain, because I didn't have to tell her, because I was telling somebody else every night. So it was cool for me, not so cool for my mom.
Right.
I think I may have told her. Sorry?
Did it come up later in life? Did it, like, deleteriously affect your relationship with your mom? That sort of, not breakdown in communication, but her perceived.
Yeah, she thought that she never got to mother me because I never needed a mother. Like, she said I came out independent. Like, I didn't need I was just, she had me, and I was like, all right, ready to go now.
Did you get the sense that it was a different entity altogether, or do you think possibly it was another form of yourself, maybe your higher self? Or
so what's interesting is that a couple of years ago, maybe last year, I don't remember, time has no meaning anymore.
Right.
Me neither. Yeah.
You're right. I think we're all there. Yeah.
I had a reading with Peter Maxwell Slattery, and he said that in 2 or 3 of my past lives that I was in Orion, and that I was a healer and a seer. And so, and the way he described it was like, that's the first thing I thought of.
That's what you saw?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it didn't feel like it was me, but it felt like a guy that had been instructed to guide me.
Right.
Okay.
But if anybody instructed the guide, it was probably me. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Right. Well, I mean, as I understand it, time is not a linear thing. Like, we exist.
Construct.
Yes, multiple times, all at once, and
It's
I mean, you very well may have sent yourself. You very well may have sent yourself the guidance that you knew you would need.
We sent ourselves here, in my opinion, but
I agree with that. Yeah, I used to be so mad, but I chose this.
Yeah, bang.
I mean, on some level, I maybe sent myself that ship in the future. I don't know. That thought has
Yeah.
occurred to me.
Well, clearly I was mad. I woke up and kicked the wall every morning, and
Yeah.
there are
Right.
mornings I still feel like doing that, but I don't anymore. So I grew up. No.
I think that
You grew in to
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're at.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us who have experienced either childhood trauma or just have navigated difficult things that don't fit in with the dominant social paradigm. Like for me, I was expected to do certain things. I was a debutante, for example. I went to private school my whole life, for example. But I was like, fuck you, pay me, I'm out. Like I have to go do other things because I also was a poet and won these awards and hosted Jim Carroll. Like we had a poetry club and Jim Carroll, like all the people who died, like the Jim Carroll band, like Basketball Diaries, Jim Carroll, like I had to take the SATs the next day and my mother's like, yeah, I can't. And my mother was a crazy alcoholic and I was like, Helen Keller, I'm not what? Yeah, see you tomorrow. You know? Like, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to go hear Jim Carroll read from the Basketball Diaries in a room full of 20 people in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. I'm sorry. I don't care if I have to take the SATs tomorrow or not. Goodbye.
We've all had different paths that have led us up to where we're at, and it will continue to evolve based on, like, your part of your journey was being in that privileged. That gave you a unique perspective that only you have.
But it was, but here's what, that's funny that you say that it was privileged, because guess what? My mother was a crazy alcoholic. My father didn't pay the child support. My mother drove a Tar Heel blue Ford Pinto. It would have maybe been okay if we were in North Carolina, but we were in Jacksonville, Florida, and it was not okay. My stepdad chased me around the house naked. I watched him shove her head into a trash compactor.
Oh, no one ever said having.
My point.
Yeah.
My point is that from one perspective, yes, absolutely. Of course, I was privileged, but I was the privileged girl who went out and worked.
Right.
My grandmother, like, trips were paid for, or private school was paid for, but my life was hell at home. And I was like, yo, I'm out. So I started writing poems when I was probably around 13.
Yeah, I started writing at that age too. Earlier, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got to high school, I was winning awards for that. And I actually have one poem which I would like to share with you all. So I'll send it to the chat. But, or not this chat, but the other. It's called The Reckoning. And it's a response to T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, which is crazy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. If
Yes,
y'all are
actually.
So I wrote a response. I'm actually, I love you all so much, but I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling in.
I want to
Always a
thank you.
pleasure.
Well, before
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn goes,
thank you.
Get the F out of here.
Hold
and
on.
bring-
Thank you
I
for
think
what you did.
Miracle. Yeah.
By the way.
I think Miracle had a
You're welcome.
question or a comment. Go
Now
ahead,
you
honey.
go do it.
yeah. Well, is she gone?
No,
had a
she's-
comment.
she's
so I
here.
had a thought.
No, Miracle's here. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Get me out of here. Get someone
All
else on. Is there
right.
someone else waiting?
Okay, so I had a thought about something that Brooklyn brought up earlier. She was talking about Q, and how some people are yelling, we want justice now, and I have those days. We all have those days. But what I was thinking was, we all know we're going to move into some kind of amazing future. It's coming soon. And what if what Q has done for 3 years was to train us to hold this clear vision that we all jointly learn to create, because with like consistent faith. Because the first time I came to the US, because for those of you who don't know, I'm not from here. The first time
Where
I
are you
came
from?
here, I had, well, that I'll share with you maybe in a month or two.
Okay.
I just have to wait for one thing to happen before I'm sharing that. But when the first time I was studying in Australia at that point, I'll say that. I was studying in Australia at that point, and my parents didn't want us to come, but I begged. And that was the year, a long time ago, that Bill Clinton had shut down all the embassies across the country, across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so they weren't giving out visas. So, but I kept telling my parents, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to be there. I was so sure. I had so much faith. We said our prayers every day. We prayed for it. I was crystal clear that I was coming. They opened the embassy for 2 days, and they stamped 150 visas where I was. and mine was one of them. Then we come over here, and like everything just fell in line. Like I mean,
Right.
like my name's Miracle Girly for a reason. Like above and beyond this trip, there were just so many other things. It was just like miracle after miracle, things just fell in line. So going back to Q, what if Q's teaching us too? He's building the muscle in all of us to
The
keep that faith.
co-creative consciousness.
Yes.
Unity
Creation.
unity consciousness. I've said it before, that the way that we all work, and I mean nobody's perfect, right? I'm not saying that. Like, we have our little spats and dramas that happens from time to time, but overall we work as a unit, and we just accept one another, no matter what your differences are, what culture you come from, or there's like this love and this common bond with us. I think it's the very beginning of what you're talking about, unity consciousness. We're just still messed up, and we don't quite know how to make it like a cohesive thing.
Cohesive.
Yeah, and we still get into our distortions and project onto each other once in a while, and
I love that you frame that.
right? But I think we're getting there. This is, like you said, Miracle Girl, it's like training wheels, you know, like.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to bring up.
The more crystal clear we are about what it is that we want, and right now, with everything that is said, and with every experience we have, with every pain that we feel, our intention becomes so much clearer. Like, I am so clear about who I want to go to prison right now. So clear.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
clear
there's no
about
doubts
all,
on that. Right.
That was rad. That was funny.
I really, I don't know about how you guys feel about this too, but I am like really seriously grateful for the things that you would look at normally and be like, oh my gosh, you went through that. That's terrible. I don't look at it that way. I literally look at the terrible, horrible, painful, traumatic things that I've been through literally as a gift. I would not be who I am today. I'd not be sitting here. I'd not be doing what I'm doing. I'd not be fighting fearlessly if not for those painful things that I'd been through.
We don't grow
husband and I
through
always
simplicity.
say-
We grow through struggle.
My husband and I always
Exactly.
say
My
that
mom used to say, I'm
we
sorry,
wouldn't
girl.
appreciate so much each other so much if we both hadn't had such horrible marriages before this.
Right?
Oh, wow.
And imagine what'll happen to humanity if we're all fighting together to free the planet. The planet gets freed. Just imagine how that's going to make us bond as a race, as a human race, you know?
And we're all, even the people who are libs right now. I mean, there are a lot of good people who are dems, who are blind, but at the end of the day, they want the exact same thing as us. So even though they're on the opposite side, their intention's getting clearer as well.
Yeah.
And the intention is exactly the same as ours. They want the corrupt people to go to jail. They want justice. They want a fair society. You know,
They just don't know who the corrupt people are. Right.
Right.
Because you know what? They've lost their. I like what, you know, when White Hat says manage your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Manage your ambitions.
Your ambition, pardon me. Thank you. I stand corrected. But doesn't it go back to healing the trauma? Because if you heal the trauma, then your level of discernment is clear, or your discernment has many levels, but whatever level with which you are working will become exponentially clarified if you've healed the obstacles.
Do you guys have these moments where you get so full of so overwhelmed with love and compassion just for the people around you that you literally, it's hard to fight back tears, and it comes out of nowhere, and you're just like,
no, it's today. That's why I called in, because I wasn't going to, but today has been like,
that happens to me all the time, where I just get like it just happened now. It happens to me all the time, and I have a tendency to show it because I think it's important for me to show it, because I want people to see that you're not the only one that's feeling these emotions that are foreign to us, you know. And
they are foreign, and doesn't it suck?
It doesn't mean you're not strong because you show that you have emotions. It doesn't mean you're not tough.
Well, it takes a certain strength to show your emotions.
Exactly.
It takes courage, guys. It takes
Yep.
There's a level of bitch ass inherent in that process, because a lot of people, we're conditioned to put on game face, and then within game face, we're conditioned to like compartmentalize our game face. And it's like, oh, you got Monday morning quarterback game face, or you got Friday night let loose game face. Like, bitch, fuck you.
I've also learned that love you feel, like sometimes when I feel that, everybody will know because I'll tell everybody how much I love them, like nonstop.
Oh, I do
Um,
that too.
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
but on those days, you can also tell where everybody's levels are, because the people who are particularly dark will want to pull you down. They'll try to destroy you in that moment.
Yeah.
Really? You think that everything's so good? Well, let me show you. I
Mhm.
literally told a
Misery
boss.
loves company.
Mhm.
I literally
Yes.
told a boss and his boss that I thought that something was going to be really good, and they went out of their way to make my life miserable.
Mhm.
Aw.
No, so
Well,
I don't work there anymore. It's okay.
right.
It's perfect.
Like,
You
who
find
did
your
that?
own level. It works.
I know I find myself when I pray sometime, like my whole thing is just let me help. I just want to help. I don't know how to help. Show me the way. Like that
Oh
that would
God.
be the whole
Guide my
thing with
guide
me.
my
But
Just
can
guide
let
I
me
tell
help.
you,
guide my
when I
path.
was
Guide my path. Guide my
Only
path.
when
when I
you
was
ask and show that humility does that guidance and showing come. Because when you ask, like Hafiz, who's a Sufi poet, go to the ocean. My Sanskrit teacher taught me, go to the ocean with an empty cup, right? And I was in church with my trainer actually over a year ago, before I hurt it was about a year ago, maybe it was last summer. And it was after Lionsgate, so it was after August. And I went to church with him, and it's like a rock and roll church. It's called Life Point here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I was sitting there, and I had this big brace, so I had to sit in this place where I could put my leg out if I got like squirrely or started to hurt or whatever. And I put my palms up, and I saw his face, and it was like a hologram. And there were two beams of lavender, purpley light and white coming to the center of my palms. And I just tear, you know, when you can feel the temperature of the tears coming down when they're unexpected?
yeah, it's hot.
They were hot. And that was like a big moment for me. And so I think that those heart openings, Alara, or all of you, anyone in the chat who's listening, we have to learn how to not be afraid of that emotion, because love is the most powerful emotion there is. I think a lot of people would like to think that anger is the most powerful emotion there is, but I'm here to tell you, Swaha, that love is the most powerful.
Love.
I like what you said about the cup,
Powerful.
about going to the ocean with an empty cup, because a lot of people, that's the thing. They think they're how can you fill a cup if it's not already empty? Like if your cup is full of things, how do you put anything else in it? You have to
Right.
go with an empty cup so that you can be filled.
Surrender.
Yes.
So there's a book called Power versus Force. I recommend that you read it if you haven't, because what they did is on kinesiology, and this guy went to the effort of looking at the vibrational levels of each emotion, and love ranked the highest. And it went through the different revolutions as well, and it showed that at each revolution, revolutionary cycle.
What do you mean by revolution?
Like Revolutionary War, like the French Revolution, Civil War, whatever it was, that in each revolution, as mankind expanded, because that's what it is, an expansion, that as a society, it jumped from one emotion to the next. So, for example, when they were fighting the French and they were beheading them, they were going from not having, like, from hopelessness and sadness and despair to anger. Well, anger might not be a good emotion from our perspective, but it has more energy than hopelessness and despair.
I agree
So
with that.
going from despair to anger is still improvement. So even if your awakening is making you angry, it doesn't mean that you're not evolving.
Well, despair
you
is
could have been in
inaction,
despair.
She's
but
exactly
anger
right.
is action.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how he walks through it. So I really recommend you read the book. It's fantastic.
What's the name
And
of the
I
book?
Power versus Force.
I'm sorry.
Power.
Can you say that again, Miracle Girlie?
Power versus Force.
Thank you.
So literally, power being the power of, like, true power, like using love, where force is something you have to make someone do. Power comes from a very natural place.
Amen.
It's not force. And
That's
so
true.
that's
Okay, so-
that's Trump's power, and the Democrats are a force.
I like the way
George-
your mind works. You say some very interesting things and things I hadn't thought of. Has anybody told you that before? You have a very abstract mind. I like that.
I do have a very abstract mind, and I
Mhm.
really appreciate that all of you are listening to my abstract mind right now, because my husband can only take so much of it.
Right.
I'm glad I found an outlet. No.
Right.
Well, anyway, I'm not gonna hold on to you guys.
Well, we thank you so much for calling
Yeah, thank
in,
you for
guys.
calling in, Miracle
Truly.
Girlie and Brooklyn.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
We're out.
Yes. Much
Hey.
love.
Love
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Brooklyn, for the.
Thank you for taking my call. Goodbye, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. I don't think she wants me to bring it up. All right, so what are we looking at here? It's 8:21. Yeah, so we kind of got sidetracked from
Dude, we talked about this. Plans
spaceships
are not plans
and
on the couch,
aliens. It started
right?
out with secret space program. We went to
Right.
spaceships and aliens, and then to Q and a million other things, and
Yeah,
evolving
I mean,
spiritually.
there's
But
no
it's
plan
it's
on
all
the couch.
it's all connected.
It's all love. It truly
it's all
is.
love, and it's all connected. And
It truly is.
yeah, I'm getting in that mood where I'm just
Are
touched.
you gonna cry? If you're gonna cry, then I'm gonna cry, and we're all gonna cry.
I love you guys. Do you guys realize we're all growing together? Like, we're all learning. We're all waking up, just at different rates. We're all waking up. We're all growing together. We're all fighting for our planet and for each other, and we're gonna get there. And but you gotta enjoy the process, Like, I get in that too sometimes, where I get impatient. Why can't these people get arrested? And because to me, it's like, we can't have New Earth until these people are brought to justice and they're eliminated.
Let me you were mentioning about how Brooklyn had a certain upbringing and she was expected to do certain things. I think that's a big part of it. Is no matter where you're at, you have a certain set of expectations. What's expected of you, considering your surroundings. And I think a large part of growth is learning to find out what you expect for yourself.
Right.
Don't get stuck on what other people expect from you. And we're all in this movement. We're all progressing at a different rate. Everybody comes in at a different point. So
Right.
you're going to have people that are, rah, rah, rah. And you're going to have other people that are
Right.
doing something totally different, but we converge and we push the same message.
Right. And if we all concentrate on the things that we love about each other and tolerance, if we all concentrate on tolerance, and we're all focused on the self and what can the self do to improve in this situation and in that or whatever, then you're not going to notice what's going on so much around you, right?
And
Or
we
your
keep our
perspective on
cup-
it will change, right?
We got to keep our cups empty. People that think they have all the answers, their cup is full. People that think they have everything they need, their cup is full. People that think they're at the max of their spiritual progression, their cup is full.
Yeah.
Let your cup be empty. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor for a lot of different things. I agree, Foil. I agree. So, should we go ahead and close out the show on that note? This has been
We could do
fun
that.
hanging out with you guys.
I love Conspiracy Couch.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do next time. I guess for now we're going to keep it Thursday nights at the same time. This seems to work. I didn't want it to conflict with anybody else's show, but honestly at this point the schedule's so full that there's just no way to have a late night call-in show and not be conflicting with somebody's show. So I did the best I could. If another time comes about in the future where we can change it and do a better job with that, we will. But for right now, we're going to keep it like it is.
Check out Space Force News on Sundays.
Yeah. Okay, so this Pink Patriot podcast coming this Wednesday. So this really neat gal, I don't know all her information yet, but I believe her name's Monique. She had a video on Twitter that went viral. And I believe she ran for some political stuff in Texas. Anyway, she's an amazing patriot, very entertaining, very funny. And I'm really excited to sit down and talk to her. This is going to be super fun. So yeah, Pink Patriot. I could tell. I'll Kate get her name together. I don't think Kate's in the chat, but you guys will see the promos if you follow my Twitter account. But yeah, so she'll be on Pink Patriot this Wednesday. And then I think the Wednesday after we have our Sedona trip. So it'll be me and Kate and Lala in person, maybe Foil too. I don't know, but whoever's there ready for the trip, but we haven't gone yet. So I think it'll at least be me, Kate, and Lala, and we'll all be together physically. And that'll be the week after next. And then, yeah, Space Force News this Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And, yeah, right? Right? And thanks, everybody, for coming by and hanging out with us on the Conspiracy Couch. If you guys have suggestions for show topics, you have some information you want to share, anything like that, feel free to get in touch with us at any time. Email address is down in the link below. Also, donation links for this channel and for this show specifically. All those instructions are always in the description below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you to our guests who came on. We had a lot of fun talking to you guys. And thank you to the mods for working so hard, you guys.
Yes, thank you.
We really, really appreciate you. All right, everybody. Have a good night.